actually very entertaining. So that one's on my to-be-read pile.
Well, speaking of which, what are you reading?
Oh, I just finished reading Deathless Divide, which is the sequel to Dread Nation, and I thought it's a good sequel. It's a good sequel. It didn't floor me quite as much as Dread Nation, but I think it's because I knew kind of going in what to expect. I think she handled it really well. There were some things that kind of I saw it coming, but I thought she did a really nice job with it, and I found it fascinating the twist on history that she puts into what California looks like with the Golden Wall and Thomas Edison electrifying the big wall to keep the dead out, the living dead out, and that sort of thing. So the historical characters that she brings into it and kind of incorporates, I thought she did. She doesn't dig in, but she does this nice twist with it, which and I like Justina Ireland's writing, so I think she did a nice job with that. What about you? What have you been reading? Because I just finished that.
I finished Bacchanal by Veronica Henry and thoroughly enjoyed it. Although, again, it goes down to my class of books that just misses being truly great. It's really good. It's a wonderful take on this kind of combination of African animism and mythology and folk magic in the setting of a rather sinister carnival touring the South and Southwest in 1939.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
And it's just all of the acts in the carnival are most of them are black people, and they're all kind of special in some way. So the fortune teller can really tell fortunes.
Right.
Not like this is going to happen, but has this feel for what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
The animal tamer, who is the central character, can communicate with the animals by essentially sending them pictures in her head of what, and she receives from them pictures of what the animal sees. And she's learning to control that gift and train animals to do things in her animal act. But that's very central to what else she does with the carnival. There is a were hyena.
Okay.
The man is possessed by the hyena spirit and turns into a hyena instead of a wolf.
Right. Nice twist.
There's just all kinds of strange and mysterious people, and the carnival is actually run by a demon who takes on human form when she wants to.
Well, I'm just adding that to my
It's
to-be-read pile.
Really
to-be-read list.
There's a feel and a tone to it that's very Afrocentric, but just kind of wild.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And my own criticism is the final confrontation, I think, cheats.
Oh, yeah.
I
think that's...
And that's what bothered me. It wasn't...
Otherwise, it would be great.
There's this
it was good, but
build-up to this confrontation, and it's over in just a couple of pages. It's like...
Yeah.
And then I did read your recommendation, The Wild Built.
A Psalm for the Wild Built.
It was good.
Yeah.
I
think it's lovely.
Okay, it was lovely in the sense of the world she portrays, and a lot of her prose is just wonderful.
Isn't it, though?
And I enjoy that.
I love the way she writes.
I didn't particularly get into the characters.
Well, I just finished also, right before I read Deathless Divide, I did read The Galaxy and the Ground Within, which is also Becky Chambers. So it's her final book in that particular series, and it's the fourth book. It started with A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and it ends with The Galaxy and the Ground Within. And I just love Becky Chambers. I just really, the way she writes and the characters are just, there's nothing, things don't, okay, things do explode, but not in the way that, oh my God, there's fire and death raining down on us. But there's challenges because of what happens, and people have to figure out how to navigate their differences and all of that. And I just,
maybe I just started in the middle because this felt like just
well, that A Psalm for the Wild Built is it's a separate series. So that's Monk and Robot, and that's the first book in that new series, and it's a novella. It's a real fast read.
Yeah, but it was more of well, I don't know. I didn't get into the personal journey bit.
Okay.
For Dax.
All right.
And I just didn't buy into the robot's whole thing of, well, why do you have to have a purpose? Maybe because I'm so purpose driven that just is. If you don't have a purpose, you might as well sit in the corner and eat gruel.
Well, and I think that, Bo, that's part of their journey. That as it goes on, I anticipate seeing that they're trying to.
And again, no comment. I don't know whether to say it or not, but I didn't see a reason in the way the story unfolded to make Dax non-binary. I mean, it's okay, and sometimes characters just come to you that way, and I understand that. But it didn't really serve any purpose in the book.
There's no need for that character to have a gender, though. So I think, there
may be no need, but there's no reason to push it that way either.
Well, why not? I mean, though, I
don't know. I think
representation is important, and I think that if that's the way the character came to her,
that's the way the character came to her, I it's okay. It just, I thought that there was going to be some central thing about that, because this is all about Dax not being comfortable in his own skin, basically.
I think that the idea of where we've evolved to, is what she's trying to make the point of, and that all people can exist in that, and there's all this acceptance going on. And so, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it just felt very natural to me, so I didn't question it.
It wasn't that it was a problem. I don't want to make it sound like that. It just didn't seem to be. It seemed to be a throwaway. It's like. Inclusion is great, but if you're going to do it, then have that be part of the character's perspective. But I just didn't get that.
I think, though, that what we're seeing is that we've done a lot of that. We've done so many of those, the character's perspective and not fitting in, and the stories about that. And I think the idea is to move away from that and just have representation of characters in books who are who they are, and not make the story about that. And I think that okay. For me it was enough, right? It suited, as far as I was concerned. It just seemed like part of it. And I think that again goes to the fact that the story is about us being able to potentially evolve in a direction where there's so much more acceptance of differences and people being allowed to be who they are, which clearly right now we are nowhere near. But that to me is very hopeful. It's a very hopeful message.
Okay.
Anyway, I am reading right now Play Big, which is, I wish I could think of her name right now, but we'll talk about it next time. But it's written by the PhD who was the first woman to coach in the NFL.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm reading that. So far I really like it. I'll let you know.
I'm aware of it. I think I looked at it as one of my selections on Audible, and I went with Bacchanal instead.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's just a very different type of literature.
Do I want to read this kind of autobiography, essentially? Not even so much that. I don't know. Do I want to read a true story?
Or do you just
want to have fun?
Yeah. So, and really what she's doing is it's a memoir, basically, but it's also an encouragement book.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm intrigued.
yeah, I'm
That's
enjoying it. There are things that I already know and that I already do. Oh, her name is Jen Welter. Thank you, producer. Jen Welter. So Play Big by Jen Welter. I'll let you know when I'm finished with it. I'm only about 75 pages, about a third of the way in. So that's what I've been reading. Yeah.